Today we're going to talk about one of the grifters' favorite lines. Go woke, go broke. You've probably seen it plastered on thumbnails and in comment sections whenever a movie features diverse casting, progressive themes, or social commentary. But here's the thing. It's an absolute lie and only works through cherry picking. Let's start with the evidence. We're going to start with the most obvious example, Barbie. In 2023, Greta Gerwig's pink-saturated, uber-feminist film became one of the most financially successful films of all time, earning over $1.4 billion worldwide. Grifters called it woke for its explicit commentary on the patriarchy and gender roles. You had grown men burning Barbie dolls because the film was so feminist and woke. But the audience? They showed up in droves, making it the highest-grossing film of that year. Then the backtracking begun. Some ignored the success, while others undermined the success of the film, saying it, quote, lied to its audience, whatever that means. And Barbie isn't a one-off example. Consider Black Panther, which grossed $1.35 billion globally in 2018. The film featured an almost entirely black cast, celebrated African culture, and tackled themes of colonialism, identity, and colonial theft. It was also directed by a black man. According to the go woke, go broke crowd, this should have been a disaster, right?
Right? Wrong.
Instead, it became a cultural phenomenon and one of the highest-grossing superhero films ever made. Wicked is currently defying gravity at the box office, too. The musical adaptation has earned over $700 million globally and counting, becoming the highest-grossing Broadway adaptation of all time. Despite criticism about its LGBTQ+ themes and diverse casting. And these are just a few examples. A comprehensive study presented at the Zurich Film Festival analyzed over 10,000 films and 4 million audience comments to examine whether, quote, woke content correlates with box office failure. And they found that there was no consistent pattern. Some films with progressive themes succeed massively, while others don't, just like films without such themes. According to data from the Houston Press, when looking at 2023's releases, films labeled as woke actually made an average of $210 million per film, compared to $90 million for the, quote, non-woke films. While there were fewer woke releases, they tended to be bigger, more successful projects. The researcher noted that success ultimately comes from storytelling quality and authenticity, not from the presence or absence of progressive themes. A good story well told will always do well no matter what grifters try to sell you. This was my favorite section while I was writing this, because it's the only thing keeping this go woke, go broke narrative somewhat alive, and the lengths these grifters go to cherry-pick the projects they cover are interesting. The go woke, go broke crowd has perfected the art of selective amnesia, and I'm going to show you exactly how this con works. When the Marvels underperformed at the box office in 2023, earning $206 million against a $275 million budget, the internet erupted. See, go woke, go broke, they said. The film starred 3 women, 2 of them women of color, and it was directed by a black woman. It became the perfect target for their confirmation bias. They made months worth of content, in fact years, considering they still use Brie Larson for thumbnails to this day. But here's everything they conveniently forgot to mention. The Marvels released just 1 day after the SAG strike ended, meaning the cast couldn't promote the film during its crucial marketing window. Disney CEO Bob Iger himself admitted the film was shot during COVID with insufficient executive oversight. The movie also suffered from broader Marvel and superhero fatigue, with several other MCU films underperforming that same year regardless of their casting choices. In fact, when we look at 2023's superhero slate, nearly every film struggled. Shazam, Fury of the Gods, flopped. The Flash, massive disappointment, actually lowest grossing superhero film ever. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, underperformed. Despite these movies featuring a predominantly white male cast, they flopped. But somehow, only the Marvels became the poster child for wokeness, destroying box office returns.
Gee, I wonder why!
When films that completely obliterate this narrative come out, they are simply ignored. Let's run through some of them, shall we? At number 1, Sinners. The film had a predominantly black cast, explored themes of racism, black identity, cultural appropriation, struggle for black ownership and legacy, and how life was like for black people during the Jim Crow era. Things that would be considered woke by these people. So this was definitely going to fail, right?
Right? Wrong.
Well, it went on to become one of the highest grossing films of the year, and grifters absolutely ignored it. Instead, they all made videos about G20, another film that came out at the same time that featured a black woman at the center, and it had flopped. See, that's how they cherry-pick what to talk about in order to feed their confirmation biases. Everything Everywhere All at Once featured an almost entirely Asian cast, explored themes of immigration, generational trauma, and queer identity, with one of the lead characters being a lesbian. A movie preaching about immigration and has lesbians? That's flop, according to Go Woke, Go Broke, right?
Wrong.
Well, the movie became A24's highest grossing film ever, with $143 million on a $25 million budget. It then swept the Oscars with 7 wins, making Michelle Yeoh the second woman of color to win a Best Actress Oscar. Where was the Go Woke, Go Broke crowd? Dispatch is not a movie, but it's a game with lots of diverse characters, which is doing really well. It sold millions of copies in a few weeks and received a nomination at the Game Awards. And again, these are just a few examples out of so many that I can't get into all of them in this video. But the pattern is clear. When a woke movie succeeds, it's conveniently ignored or retroactively declared not really woke. When it fails, though, suddenly its progressive elements are the only thing grifters want to discuss. Now let's talk about what really determines box office success, because it's far more complex than culture war narratives. Quality of execution. It all comes down to execution. Morbius and Kraven the Hunter, both led by straight white men, massively flopped. Despite having good source material, the execution was awful. Marketing and timing. The Marvels couldn't market itself properly due to the strikes, while Barbie had one of the most innovative marketing campaigns in cinema history, turning the entire world pink, and it did really well. Franchise fatigue. By 2023, audiences were exhausted by the MCU's relentless output. 3 of Marvel's last 4 films underperformed, and that includes plenty of male-led entries. This isn't about wokeness, it's about oversaturation, competition, and release windows. Context always matters. What else is in theaters? What's the economic climate? These factors hurt movies more than any culture war concerns. Here's the real giveaway that this is all manufactured BS. When quote-unquote non-woke movies fail, there's no corresponding narrative. When Lightyear underperformed, critics blamed its same-sex kiss scene. But when Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny bombed, featuring good old Harrison Ford, there was no catchy slogan, just collective acknowledgement that maybe audiences weren't interested in an aging franchise anymore. The go woke, go broke narrative only activates when it confirms pre-existing biases. It's not analysis, like, at all. Movies succeed or fail based on multiple factors: quality of storytelling and execution, marketing effectiveness and budget, release timing and competition, star power and franchise recognition, production value and visual spectacle. critical reception, and word of mouth. Progressive themes are just one ingredient among many. Wonder Woman centered a female superhero and became a massive hit. Get Out tackled racism head-on and became a cultural phenomenon. Again, these are just a few examples of many. The go woke, go broke narrative survives because it's easier to blame diversity and inclusion for a film's failure than to acknowledge that maybe the movie just wasn't very good or the marketing missed the mark. And also, money. This is how grifters make money. The next time someone claims go woke, go broke, ask them to explain Barbie's $1.4 billion, or Sinners, and Get Out, or even Wicked, and watch them twist trying to explain how those movies aren't actually woke. The truth is, at the end of the day, great storytelling transcends manufactured outrage, and billion-dollar box office receipts don't lie. Bye.